Hi, I'm Christy Demetrakis, the Empowered Speaker. Over the years, I have coached hundreds of people to become more confident and dynamic speakers. Whether they are very experienced or whether they are brand new to public speaking, inevitably, they have some type of sticky situation that they run into when they're presenting or as they're preparing to present. On this episode of Empowered Speakers Want to Know, I want to address one of those very important sticky situations. On this episode, we're talking about technical difficulties. That never happens, right? Technical difficulties. And that is such a wide-ranging topic. And I already know that you're going to comment below, you didn't talk about this, and what about this, and what about this? Yes, I know. And I'm counting on you to tell me some of those other ones so that I can do a video on it. But for today, we're talking about 4 specifically. The first one, we'll talk about all 4 and then I'll go back and talk about them. The computer dies. What about the projector that doesn't work when you expect it to work? What about losing your thumb drive or your jump drive? Or the internet doesn't work? All of these are really good. Let's talk about them one by one. Your computer dies. Now I'm going to go on the assumption that your computer didn't die because of your battery. Okay? You see my face? That should never happen. Your computer should never die because your battery died, because that is part of preparation. We have to make sure that little things like that we can control don't happen before a presentation. Make sure that your battery for your laptop is charged. But let's just assume, I'm going to give us the benefit of the doubt and assume that perhaps your computer stopped working because of an upgrade. You know, those upgrades come at the most inopportune times, and when they tell you it's going to upgrade, it doesn't tell you how long it's going to take, and it just pops up. Well, if that happens, you can't stop the upgrade. That's an issue. So what do you do when that happens? Well, it's best you can, if you can catch it and say, save for later, because it does give you that option. It usually gives you a few warnings before that upgrade happens. We're going to restart it now, or we can push it off for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or till later tonight. Try to make sure that you catch it and you can tell it when you want that upgrade to take place so that your computer doesn't die. So regarding the computer dying, let's make sure that it is not because of a battery, because we failed to plug it in. But if it's because of an upgrade, let's try to make sure that we are catching that upgrade before it actually starts. The other option is, hopefully someone else has a computer that you can use. What about the projector doesn't work? Ideally, back to preparation. You've checked out that meeting room in advance. You already know that that projector works. If you get there and for some reason it doesn't work, your next logical option is handouts. Either you don't need the presentations and you can just talk it, or you need handouts. Ideally, this doesn't happen when you have a 200-person audience, because it would be very time consuming to have to all of a sudden do 200 handouts. But if it's a small group, you should probably go ahead and prepare for that. And when I say handouts, I'm literally saying have your slides printed in the format that it's 4 slides per front back of a page. So we're being, friendly to the environment. But with those lines that have where people can take notes, have those as handouts, or tell people to take notes. Those are your options if that projector doesn't work, or if you can't change rooms. But the key is preparation. Get there in advance, check to make sure that the projector is going to work. Give yourself plenty of time so perhaps you can also change rooms. What about losing your thumb drive or your jump drive that you actually have your presentation on? Here's my suggestion. Go to the cloud. I know that companies and retailers still sell thumb drives and jump drives. I know many people still have them. But realistically, most people do things on the shared drives now, whether that's OneDrive, which is one of Microsoft 365's platforms, or Google Docs. Those are 2. I know there are more, but those are the 2 main ones. Saving your information on the cloud through one of those services is fantastic, because then it doesn't rely on your computer. It doesn't rely on you having a thumb drive that you now have to keep up with this big, but you can access any of your documents that you've saved in the cloud from anywhere on anybody's computer. If your computer was doing an upgrade and that's where your presentation was on OneDrive or Google Docs, it wouldn't matter. You just get somebody else's computer and you still be able to pull up your presentation and you keep on going. Let's upgrade. If we're still using thumb drives, that's not safe, and many companies will not allow you to use those anymore because they can be stolen and have confidential information on it. Let's upgrade, move to the cloud. Last one, internet connection doesn't work. Most things today depend on the internet. We know this to be true. When the internet doesn't work, we feel like the world has ended. And what do we do with these hands without the internet? Well, let's assume we're talking WebEx or one of those video conferencing services that absolutely work on the internet. You have a call scheduled. Ideally, first of all, back to preparation, you're going to dial in early, making sure that the WebEx or Zoom or whatever platform you're using works, that you have a good internet connection, that everything is all set to go. If for some reason the internet doesn't work, you have a couple of options. You can go old school. Old school looks like getting on the phone with a teleconference versus a video conference, because telephones don't depend on internet. Telephone and having the conversation that way. Now, you still won't necessarily be able to send those slides because you send that via the internet, but you could still at least have a conversation, okay? The other option, of course, is to reschedule and wait for the internet to come back up if that makes it easier for the things that you need to share. But the biggest thing is to make sure that you're practicing in advance, that you're getting there early, that you're dialing in early, and you're making an assessment very quickly about whether you need to adjust due to the fact that you have no internet. But the world doesn't end when there's no internet. We can always go old school and actually pick up the phone and have a conversation with people. All right, I know there's a lot more technical issues and sticky situations that come up, but those are the 4 that we covered today. If you have more that you want me to address on video, please put it in the comments below and I'll be happy to add that into my next set of videos for Empowered Speakers Want to Know. So for the next episode, I'm encouraging you to come back, type in the information that you want to see. If you have other sticky situations, let me know and I'll do a video on them. I'll be back because I'm doing what I love.